In this video, we'll discuss how you can use the FormView control in the UX component to build master detail forms that work with very large amounts of data. And I don't mean a lot of records, but a lot of fields. So basically, working with this number of fields without using the FormView control would result in a very large UX component. So you can see here we've built a UX component that has a parent list, a master list over here, and then underneath this we have a child list. And basically the parent list has 100 fields in it, and the child list also has 100 fields. So basically we're talking about 200 fields in total that we need to be able to edit. So the underlying table structure for the parent table looks like this. As you can see here, we've got a primary key, and then we've got 100 character fields over there, and the underlying table structure for the child table basically has an ID, which is the primary key, it's auto increment, then it has the ID of the parent record, and then it has 100 fields over there. So basically the two tables, the parent and the child table, both have 100 fields. Then for the parent table we've got a FormView control over here, and then when we tap on any field in the FormView control, we bring up the editor where we can edit the value. So we can go there and type in C24, hit the save button, that commits the edit back to the form, then hit the save button, and that commits the edit back to the list control, and now we can synchronize the data with the backend SQL database. So you can see there we've gone ahead and done that now. And then if we go down to the child list over here, we could, for example, tap on the child list. You can see the form there gets populated. Let's tap on that record over there. So now we can go there and make an edit, change that to AAA, hit the save button, that commits it back to the list control, and then go ahead and synchronize. Now, even though we have here a UX component that is allowing us to edit a large number of fields, 200 fields in total, because we're using the FormView control, the UX itself is very lightweight and behaves very well. So what I'm going to do now to show how quickly this component loads, I'm going to go here, copy this URL to the clipboard, close it down, go here and open up a new tab, paste in the URL, and we can see now that the component loads very quickly because it's relatively lightweight, because it's using the FormView control and then a shared editor for all 100 fields over here. So for all of the 100 fields in the parent, we're using a shared editor over here, and for all of the 100 fields in the child, we're using a shared editor over there. So when we go back to the UX builder itself and we look at this component, we can see that what we see in the component is our scrolling to the top here, we see basically the list control for the parent list. We see the list control here for the child list. Then we see a FormView control which is being used just for the fields in the parent list, and then we see another FormView control over here which is being used just for the fields in the child list, and then we have our standard synchronization buttons over there. So what we're going to do now is start from scratch and show how we configured this UX component to design the FormView controls and the editors. So we're continuing now with our video on how to configure the FormView control to work with master detail forms. So in the previous video we showed how our SQL database, which in this particular case is a MySQL database, has two tables, one called let's just go here, one called let's go here to localhost, and then over here to test, one called big table parent, which has 100 fields in it, and one called big table child, which has also a large number of fields basically. There we go. So there are the two tables we're working with. So now what we're going to do is start out here in a brand new component, and let's go and add a list control now for the parent list. So we'll go here and we'll use the list control quick setup Genie. So this Genie is available when you've got this checkbox, the radio button for create a single new control. So we'll go there and we'll set our connection string. So we're using a connection string to our MySQL MariaDB database over there. We'll go and select the table. So we'll go here and choose big table parent, sorry. And we'll just initially just select a few fields from this. We're going to go back later on and change this. So we'll just choose a few fields from the parent table. We'll turn on the detail view and then click OK. So this is going to basically create a traditional list with a detail view. And if we go here and we run this, we'll see basically our standard parent list over here with a detail view where we can basically go ahead and do edits. So ultimately we're going to replace this detail view here with a form view control. So now let's go and add in the child list. So again we'll go here to the list control. Again we'll choose the Genie and we'll choose the same connection string. So that's going to be Maria test, and we'll choose our table. So this is going to be the big table child, and our field list, and again we'll just choose a few fields initially, but then we're going to go back and change that to all of the fields. We'll turn on a detail view and we'll specify that this list is has a parent, and the parent of course is going to be list number 1. So there's list number 1, and the linking fields on the parent is going to be ID, and on the child side it's going to be ID parent. So now we've basically configured this list over here, list number 2, as a child of list number 1, and we have a detail view over there. So if we go now and we run this, we can see that there's the parent list. When we click on the row in the parent list, the child list gets populated, and then there are the records for the child list. So at this point we can of course do edits against either the parent list or the child list, and we can synchronize the data. So if we were to go here for example and add a new record, and then we'll just go there and type C1 and C1, and then hit the save button and then hit the synchronize button, you can see a new record got added to the child table. But at this point we're only editing about 5 fields in each of the table, and if we were to go and add 100 fields to the parent detail view and 100 fields to the child detail view, our UX component would quickly become very bloated and would start slowing down. So what we want to do is replace this traditional detail view here with a form view control. So let's go ahead now and actually start doing that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go to this detail view over here and delete all the fields from the detail view. Then I'm going to go to the list, and recall that the list was initially set to only show 5 fields. So let's go to the SQL for this list and change it to a star over here. So now basically we're going to be getting all 100 fields from that list. So go ahead there and click OK, and then click OK over there. And let's do the same thing here to list number 2, but we'll pause now and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing now with a video on using form view controls to create master detail forms, and now we're going to go and configure the form view control for the child list over there. So we'll open up the form property builder here, go to data source. We'll say that our data source is now list number 2, which is the child list. And we can see now that we only see fields from the child list, so the parent list fields aren't being shown here. And now we'll go to our form layout. We'll choose all of the fields from the child list, and then we'll wrap all of those fields again in a column layout so that we can tighten up the display. So we'll go to containers, we'll go to layout container, and we'll choose column, click the OK button. So then again we'll do the same distribution into 5 columns. So we'll go to number 20, we'll go to number 40 and put in a column break. We'll go to 60 and put in a column break, and then we'll go to 80 and put in a column break, and then at the very top we'll go here and choose our save and commit buttons. So we'll go there, choose save and commit, and then just move them to the very top. So now we've basically got our 2 forms for the parent and for the child, but we again haven't configured any editors yet. So if we were to go ahead now and run this, let's go here now and go to preview mode. We can see when we click on a parent record, we can see our form over here that is displaying the data, and then if we click on a child record, we can see there's our form that is displaying the data. So now let's go and configure editors for these 2 forms, so we can go ahead now and make any edits to either the parent or the child. So we'll go now and let's just go here and add another container after container 3. So we'll go here and say insert after, and let's turn off the break so that the editors are next to the form. And now inside this container number 5 here, let's go and add an editor set. So we'll go there and we'll add in an editor set. So we'll say insert after, and then inside this editor set we're going to use a text editor. Now obviously as your forms get more complex you'll need to add different types of editors, but for the time being a single text editor will be sufficient. So we'll go there and choose that, and now we can go back to our form and specify that all of the fields are going to use that editor. So we'll go there. So we don't need to edit the first field, ID, because that's just the primary key that gets set automatically. So we'll go here and we'll say editor set number 2 and then editor 2, and we'll apply that to basically all of the fields but not the child fields. So let's just go down to there. So we won't bother with any of the child fields. So now we've gone ahead and specified an editor for each of the fields in the parent list, and now we can basically do the same thing for the child form. Now we could, if we wanted, we could have the child form also use the same editor over there, or we could create separate sets of editors for the child form. Just to keep it simple, let's go ahead and use the same editors for the child form as the parent form. So we'll go over to our form detail there, go to fields, select the first field we'd like to make editable, choose editor set number 2 and editor number 2, and then apply that to all of the editable fields. Click the OK button and then go ahead and click OK. So now when we go ahead now and we run this form, we should be able to edit fields in either the parent or the child. So let's just make this a little bit wider over there. So click on the parent. So there's my parent form. Click on any particular field over there, and there's the editor where I can make an edit. So let's go there and change that to AAA. Hit the save button. So there's the AAA over there. Hit the save button. There's the edit now that's not yet been synchronized. If we hit the synchronize button, we'll write that data back into the database. And now let's go to the child table over there. So we'll go there. There's the form over there. So continuing with the video now, so when we click on a field in the child form over here, we can see that the value that I just clicked on, which was C1 for character number 3, is displayed in the editor because we're sharing the same editor for the parent form and the child form. So we'll go ahead and make some edit there. We'll put in a bunch of X's, hit the save button. So there the child form now has that value. Hit the save button now, and we can see that the data has been written to the child list. So there's the little marker to indicate that this is unsynchronized. And if we go to the parent list, we'll see that we have a light orange marker there to indicate that this record itself is not dirty, but one of its children is dirty. And then I'm going to go ahead and synchronize, and that's going to write the data back into the database. So what we've shown over here is how we can quickly build a UX component that deals with master detail data and edits very large amounts of data. So basically we have a total of 200 editable fields on this form using the form view control, and because we have the because we're using the form view control, we're able to get very good performance, especially if we turn on the ability to pre-render the component. So if we go here now and we turn on pre-rendering, so we'll go there and turn pre-rendering on. Let's just go and save this right now and then launch this form in our browser, and we'll see that basically the form renders extremely quickly. Tap on a row and there's the form view itself. Tap on a field and there's the editable value for the field, etc. Now of course in this case the form looks pretty basic. It's just, you know, columns of field after field after field, but because the form view control is just HTML, you can design the form to look as attractive as you would like. So thanks very much for watching.